colour, blue. So I've chosen some blues and to break it up with white. Now my next thing to do, my next task will be to cut these out and then go back to my background fabric, and I was going to use the back of this. I can pop that there, like so, and I can pin that round, and then I can start placing my shapes here in the window, matching up the numbers from the paper pieces, and then placing them in the same way that these are arranged there. As it is. So that is now I should go to our stitches book, and at this stage I think I will probably use a feather stitch to outline this first of all, and then I will think about filling it in. I started off with a blue velvet background, but it was too heavy, it was too thick, and it was going to make this too bulky, which would mean it would be a little bit difficult to sew through. I decided to keep the outline the same thread, the same colour all the way around the edges here. I won't be changing the colour of the outline thread. That is how I'm going to continue now. I'm going to continue to finish off the feather stitch and then have a think about how to treat the shapes. Now all the feather stitch has been done now, and we get to the fun bit now, and that is filling in some of these shapes or all of these shapes, or making other shapes. Now it's really up to you how you do this. I've decided that I'm going to keep the shapes as they are, and possibly not make shapes on top of them with more applique, but I am going to decorate each of the shape here with maybe lace. I've got the trusty old lace bin here, so I might just add pieces of interest on these shapes, maybe a little bit of netting or some sequins. I'd really like it quite rich looking, with maybe lots of beads or sequins. Just place one piece down, work around that one piece, and then once that piece is placed down, then start moving out. I varied the width of the slow stitch. Here it's quite even, and then it goes off into a closer width there to make a few shapes. Here I've kept the width wider than there. Here it's more like speckling stitch, lots of little stitches just racing around. Under the net it's still possible to see the feather stitch, so I haven't lost the feather stitch tool. For some of you this will be a journal page. We don't want to make this too textured for obvious reasons, because when you turn your page, unless it's on stiff card, you won't be able to write on the back of this if this is a page. But I do want to decorate it, and that's part of your challenge, to decorate yours as well. So what I'm going to do, I'll possibly use something like this, the lace, cut these out. These are quite flat, and I might put some of these around on there. Well, actually that looks quite nice like that. So I've got that. Now this will be the most textured that I use, sequins, because these are still very flat, but I think anything thicker or heavier, deeper than a sequin might be too much. I've put the applique down. Lots of little motifs, as you can see, all around. I've dotted them. I'm going to leave these areas plain as a contrast between the busy areas and the appliqued areas. Now these haven't been stitched down yet, so I'm being very careful not to dislodge them or move them. Oh, there's a pin there. I'm going to take the pins out. I don't think there are any more pins there. Now I'm just going to put some net over the top, a very fine net, because because the net will actually keep it all in place, and because it's going to be a journal page, it will also take the edge off of some of these slightly raised areas. So I shall pop that down. Unfortunately it's in 2 halves, but that won't matter. I'll tack the net in place, and then it will be ready for some surface stitchery. So now I have a new surface to start the stitching, but the design is still underneath. You can still see the stitching and the colours and the shapes, and it's come out quite well on the screen as well. So let's just pop the frame over to see what it looks like at this point. Oh yeah, let's pop that there. So this is taking shape nicely as our journal page, although some of you might not want to do this as a journal page. You might want to make this into something else, a small cushion or a picture. There's numerous things you can do with this. Even put a patchwork edge around it, make it the centre, the feature of a larger item. But for me at the moment, I'm just going to tack across it. I don't think I would actually get away without tacking it. I will start my stitching, and I'll be introducing another stitch. So we've already had the feather stitch, the slow stitch, and there'll be another stitch